Hello and welcome. Behind me here we have our compact sand plant, also known as a CSP-10 unit. My name's Jeremy and I'm part of the team here at Equip2. What I'd like to do today is take you on a brief walkthrough of our CSP unit to show you what it can do and how it could fit into your operation. In effect, what the CSP does is takes a Infeed material, it then separates the sand or the -4 out of the Infeed material, it washes the aggregate and then dewaters the sand. So this particular unit is a CSP-10 and the 10 refers to its engineered Infeed capacity of 100 tonnes per hour. Being a modular unit, and the beauty of the modular units is that we can size it larger or smaller, depending on your tonnes per hour outfeed requirement. So what we'll do now is we'll start off with the brains of the unit. So here we are at the control panel, or the brains of the unit. Now the beauty of this, this whole plant is it's completely controlled off a digital display here. Now each component of the plant can be individually activated or can be sequential. This particular one we've got mounted off to the side of the main chassis of the unit. It can also be mounted on the chassis of the unit in a dustproof and waterproof container, or alternatively can be mounted in a separate site shed or air-conditioned container, just really depending on your site requirements. So next we have the Infeed hopper. So this particular Infeed hopper has a grizzly on top, which will take out anything above 65 millimeters. This particular one is a manual grizzly, which means that it would be raised and lowered by the loader operator in the actual machine itself. We can also have them specified with a hydraulic auto grizzly. The beauty of this particular hopper is the base of it is splayed towards its throat, and the reason that is as it stops the throat being choked when you've got a large amount of material in there, and the base conveyor not being able to drag it through. So it's actually splayed at the end to allow more material to fall in. So once it comes out of the hopper, it then comes up our main Infeed conveyor into our boiler box up the top, and we'll head up the top and have a look up there. So here we are now up the top of, or on the side catwalk of the actual unit. The unit itself does require quite a lot of water, and that is infed through this big manifold here. So as the material comes in on its infeed, it comes into this boiler box or our main screen box up here, and now around 50% of the water that's coming into the plant is going to be dosed into the infeed material in this boiler box. And the reason for that is just to give that infeed material a really good saturation before it hits the screen deck. Now, if we have a look inside the screen deck here, you'll notice that we've actually got our screen deck is split in two. So we've got on the right-hand side is where all the material falls into and the sand gets taken out of it. And on the left-hand side is the dewatering side of the screen. So what happens is as the material comes in, drops in, it's dosed, and slowly starts working its way up the right-hand side of the screen deck. We have these spray bars here to give, and the purpose of those is to give the stone an extra wash. It also helps push the sand through the screen deck, and the sand being anything 4 millimeters and minus. And so as it's traveling up, the sand's going through into the sump down the bottom of the unit. And what we have coming off the end is a washed aggregate, which is anything 4 millimeters and above. And what would generally happen once it comes out of that, off the end of the screen deck, that could then go into a secondary screening unit to create more split of aggregate, or could go back through a crusher. So once the sand has been taken out of the aggregate and the clean ag has then been discharged, the sand and water is collected in a sump down the bottom of the plant. that is mixed in together and then pumped with via a slurry pump, which we'll see down a bit later, up into our hydrocyclone at the top here. Now we have separate videos showing exactly how hydrocyclones work, and so you can view those on our website. But in brief, what it is the sand and water mix is pumped into the top of the hydrocyclone. This forms a vortex, and the 75 microns and really ultra fines and water is taken out the center of the hydrocyclone, and that then is discharged into either your water treatment plant or a settling pond. And the remainder of the sand falls down onto our dewatering side of the screen. Now, what happens there is we give it another with our spray bars, we give it another squirt of water to really clean it. And then as it works its way up the screen deck, the water particle detaches from the sand particle, the water falls back through to the sump, and the sand works its way up and off the end of the dewatering screen deck. Now the beauty of this is that by the time it comes off the end, it will be around about 9 to 10% water content, which is right ready to dispatch to a concrete manufacturing plant. Here we are back down the bottom of the actual unit. As you can see, this is the sump. So this is where the water and the sand are falling through. They're being mixed. Down the bottom here, in this sump here, they then get sucked out through the slurry pump, as discussed, and up into the top of the hydrocyclone, and the process starts over again. That concludes our walkthrough of the CSP-10 unit. As always, we'd love to talk to you about you and your operation and what you're doing, and how one of these plants could increase your tonnes per hour of unused material, but also increase your revenue streams.